no saving you now. Ain't no saving you now.
I think vocal production and arrangement and when and where to stack doubles, harmonies, how to get different timbres and different, textures throughout your vocal production. I think that's a really misunderstood thing. So I want to break all that down in this video for you guys and really give you a ton of game, a ton of tools, tips, tricks, things to consider as you're producing your vocals up. I'm really gonna be focusing in on how to make things big and cinematic and competitive. So even if you're pitching for major label placements with artists, or you wanna work with bigger artists, this is gonna be a great video for you as well. So let's dive right into all things vocal production. Let's go. All right, let's play this chorus right now with just one lead vocal.
Ain't no saving you now.
All right, it's cool, but the problem is it's not becoming bigger. It's not becoming more dynamic. The vocal's getting lost. I feel like the texture is there for the lead vocal. It's really nice. It's got the distortion, the drive, all that good stuff. It has the attitude, everything else. But what it's lacking is that bigger than life feeling. And for licensing, especially for trailer music and things like that, things have to be big. They have to feel bigger and bigger. So the dynamics of vocal production mean that our stacks need to get bigger as we go. And you can automatically see in this session that the vocals start to stack out, right? So you could see this is chorus 1 here, right? And then we're getting to the end chorus, and you could see these other regions that I have muted. So let's talk about how we start to stack our vocals and the kind of big 2 or 3 with vocal production on what I want to layer in here to get things moving. So let's start out with our very first stack that we want to nail. And then I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to give you some tricks, and I'm going to give you a tool I've been using. The very first method you want to think about when it comes to your chorus hitting and thickening out your vocals is going to be doubles. Now there's 2 theories about this. There is the left-right theory of your doubles, or there's the LCR method, which is left, center, and right. They both have their role, okay? What I like typically with vocals is I like the left-right. I don't typically like the center on my doubles. But let's talk about what that double vocal is, okay? So I'm gonna bring these up here. These are the doubles to this vocal. It's layered in. And what's going to make your vocals wider and deeper and thicker and richer, it's going to be very tight doubles at first. No matter what you do, you'll never get the left and the right to be exactly the same if you track them separately. Okay, so I have these 2 and I've panned them out 32, 32 in Logic. All right, so let's listen to these now within the mix.
Ain't no saving you now. Ain't no saving you now. Ain't no saving you now.
All right, and now let's solo these so you can really understand what's going on here.
Ain't no saving you now. Ain't no saving you now. Ain't no saving you now. No saving you now.
One thing you'll notice is the forwardness of the lead vocal versus how the doubles are sort of like back into the sides, right? So they're a little bit more tucked back. But you'll also notice that the doubles are doing exactly the same thing, but they're still wide. Like they feel wide because there's differences in the performance no matter what. Even if I use the same mic to cut the double left and right. The other thing, and a tool I want to show you, and I'll be referencing throughout this video, is this Controlla Voice thing. Okay, so I did a voice swap with this app called Controlla. Now, this app actually is ethically trained AI voices. So these artists opt in, they get paid, all that good stuff. And that's the only AI I use in music production. And that's why I'm showing you guys this. This Sierra is a voice from their platform. And I'll show you more of this as we go. But this can also add extra depth and layers and textures, and it'll give you more width. It'll make things feel way bigger with your vocal production because it's a different voice, a different timbre recorded with a different, in this case, it's an AI voice, but it's recorded in a completely different way. So those timbres start to layer in and they start to fill out the sonic landscape because instead of like just taking up like mid-range and then having some harmonics and stuff in there, this is starting to take up those extra harmonic spaces and give you more of that fundamental, right? So the fundamental of a female vocal might be up higher, and you could even go up an octave if you wanted with a female vocal. So on this, I have, ain't no saving you now. A female might be able to go, ain't no saving you now, right? So we're starting to fill up that space, and we're getting into that new register, which has a new fundamental that is above the fundamental of this lower vocal. So let's hear this tucked in as well.
Ain't no saving you now. No saving you now.
All right, so now let's mute my vocals and let's hear just the female Sierra Controlla vocals popped in with the lead.
Ain't no saving you now. No saving you now. Ain't no saving you now. Ain't no saving you now. No saving you now.
You hear these extra timbres, this extra harmonic richness, this fullness that makes the ear feel like everything is wider, it's deeper, and it's bigger. Okay, that's what bigger means when, you know, the director or the executive producer or the artist or whoever you're working with on the record, it might be an A&R, the label, they go, we need it to be bigger. We need it to be bigger. You know, you get these kind of feedback loops all the time in production. And this is what they mean. They mean, we want it to be sonically like a wall of sound. And this is where we start. And we're going to dig even deeper into more things that matter about this in the next section. So hold on, there's a lot more to come. Continuing our conversation on doubling vocals, because that's really what we are focusing on. You have your tight doubles, right? Make it exactly like the lead. So that's going to give you some width. But if you want to go even wider, we already talked about it. You're going to bring in a new voice, a new timbre, a female vocal, a different male vocal, things like that. And of course, you could use this software, Controlla. And then the third thing is going to be how you sing it, right? The way you control your voice. So we have a few voices that we can use in this instrument called our voice, right? We have a lot of different techniques. Okay, so you got head voice, which is going to be like when someone's singing up through their nose, you know, falsetto. You got your throat, right? You could get that graspy, yeah, you know, you can get that going. You have your chest voice, and then you have like your full voice from the diaphragm, right? And you can use the whole range of your voices to give different textures and timbres to your doubles. And I recommend you do this with doubles. I recommend you do it with harmonies. I recommend you do it with spot doubles, and we'll get into that more later in this video. But here is an example of something I recorded for this part that is going to be a different kind of voice and timbre.
Ain't no saving you now.
Like those sound absolutely ridiculous on their own. Like I sound like like I'm trying to be some cartoon character. Ain't no saving you. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, like embarrassing. But in the stack, it makes sense and it adds this thickness and this richness. So let's pop it in the mix here.
Ain't no saving you now.
Right? You're like, oh, I don't even really hear it. Yeah, you don't hear it, you feel it. You feel that thickness, you feel that energy, right? So that's kind of the idea here. Now, if we wanted to thicken this out even more, I want to show you the process that I would take to use an AI voice and replace this part to give me a different timbre. Okay, so let's figure out the spot that I want to loop here. And step one would be, I would just duplicate this track and I would pan this right up the center. I'd go 100% on the volume here. And then I'm going to option drag this down. Now I'm going to treat this just as like, you know, my double, we'll go Controlla Voice, right? And this is going to be turning off all of these plugins. Besides, maybe I'll keep the compression and, you know, the drive here, and I'll keep the tuning. And then everything else, let's turn it off. Let's make it really dry. Okay. And now we have this dry vocal that's going to sound absolutely ridiculous. Check it out. It's like a cartoon.
Ain't no saving you now.
All right, there you go. Now, what voice is this? Can you answer in the comments? Like, just guess. Like, I want to know if you're paying attention, right? I talked about the head voice. I talked about falsetto. I talked about your throat. I talked about your chest voice and your full diaphragm. What would you say this is, right? What part of my instrument am I using to get this voice? Just guess. Let me know. I'll tell you after we do this. All right, so now I have this. What I want to do here is I'm just going to bounce this out, okay? You just go Option B in Logic, and we're just going to call this Controlla Voice. And boom, it'll be pretty quick here because it's just bouncing this little section. But once you have that, now you can go to the website, which is voice.controlla.xyz. And what you have here is the swap voice tab here. That's where I'm at. And what this will do is you could say studio models and you can select a voice or instrument. And we just go in here and go to the royalty free vocals is what I use. And you could get like, literally like you could check all these, like whichever one you want, right? I'm going to go to like a female voice. So I'm going to go female. Let's check out some of these voices and see which one we would like to use.
Sometimes it hurts and when the night's here, I don't do this, baby, no chance.
Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ibis
From your lips, you just do back and sees the tension like a goddess, so calls me the devil. Won't look down, won't open my
yo, I don't know what you do, we do what you do.
Okay, cool. I like that voice. I'm going to go with Sienna. I think that's how you say her name, right? So we're going to click there. But now I can take my file that I just bounced out of Logic. So let's go here and go to Controlla Bounces. Boom. And hit enter. And now it's going to upload my voice. It's going to then analyze it. And then we are going to get that voice swapped with Sienna. Sienna. I don't know how you say it, but you know. You got me. Okay, but a couple little things here. Input audio type, you have solo vocal, full mix, layered vocals. So that means you can like kind of bring in a stack of vocals if you wanted to. I'm gonna go solo vocal, obviously. You could pitch shift it. You could say up 12, or you can say down 12. I'm gonna just keep it where it's at right now. And let's go swap voices. All right, so it'll process, and now we can actually play it back and just preview it. So let's check it out.
Ain't no saving you now, no steadying you now.
So now what we're gonna do is we're just going to grab this. We can download it here. So you can see there's like the VC Vocals Original and then the Controlla Voice Bounce. We're just gonna download this one. And this is going to be, find this in the deal, and we're gonna drag it and drop it right into Logic Pro. All right, and you want to pull it to where you bounced it from, obviously. And you can see it lines up perfectly. Like the phase is actually really good. Okay, now let's hear this in context. So this is gonna be the center. I'm gonna put this in the center, and then we're gonna have the Sierra vocals on the side. So now you have kind of a LCR, but the center vocal is a different female than the other female. So let's hear, first of all, these three together, the LCR of the female vocals.
Ain't no saving you now. No steadying you now.
That's dope, right? That sounds really good. And I didn't have to, you know, wait for my friend who's a female vocalist to have like finally some time to cut this vocal. But if I want to, I can replace it with a female vocalist that I know. You know what I mean? We could do a session. But at least now she has a roadmap and she knows like where she's trying to hit and all that stuff. So let's play this all together.
Ain't no saving you now.
Much bigger, right? Like it feels like, it's like we got a chorus, a choir of vocals going. And again, this can be all laced in. It doesn't need to be as loud as I have it right now. And you can do this in either LCR, or you could do this like LR, just left and right, left and right, left and right, all these different voices and different timbres stacked, and then using these different AI voices, female voices, other male voices, etc. And you're going to get a lot more thickness and a lot more girth out of your chorus, which will be bigger, right? So let's get into some more things that are really, really important to vocal production and just making things a lot better, because we haven't hit or touched on panning. We haven't touched on harmonies, and we haven't touched on spot harmonies or spot doubles, or, you know, just all these things and these techniques that are going to make your song much more dynamic. Let's keep it going. If you're liking the video, please drop some love. All right. That's all I ask. Just, you know, hit that bing, bing, bing. Now, Now, if you made it this far in the video, congrats. That means that you're someone that takes vocal production very seriously. So I'm going to dive into more advanced techniques, and we're going to talk about different things that have to do with sync licensing, getting your music placed into big TV shows, film trailers, etc., etc. Now, just so you know that you're actually learning this from somebody that knows what they're talking about, I've done over $4 million in sync licensing placements, and I've worked on commercials for Dodge, Microsoft, Listerine, tons of Lexus commercials. I've done movies like the Lego Movie, 22 Jump Street, Thor Ragnarok. I've scored full anime series and Netflix series. And yeah, I've just done a lot of music to TV, picture, film, commercials, trailers, etc. So I know a couple things about this, and I just want to kind of pass this information on to you guys. So you're in luck. If you pay attention, you might, maybe, no guarantees, get a placement, right? Now, we're going to talk about selective stacking. This is very, very important when it comes to a song that has a hook or a tagline, right? This song, obviously, is No Saving You Now. I'm just going to play this section, and then I'm going to show you some ways to get your stack to be much more interesting on those taglines and those phrases that are really important, okay? So let's listen to this right now.
No saving you now.
All right, so we're going to focus on this phrase. No saving you now. Right? We're going to go into that. All right, so what we have here is our lead. You're always going to have your lead vocal. Your lead vocal is the melody, the top line, right? The no saving you now. That is the melody. But we're also going to have stacks, low stacks, high stacks, harmonies, and different voices and timbres. And this is very, very important to making these punctuated phrases or your tagline more interesting, bigger, unique, give someone the chills, whatever you're trying to do, right? So what we have here, let's break it all down. We have the lead stack. This is just the lead vocal.
No saving you now.
In your lead vocal, you want all the energy. Then we have a low harmony, and this is the low harmony. I'm going to solo this out.
No saving you now.
And you'll notice that I'm having to make my voice sound a little weird and different, right? No saving, because that's like down. It's below my register, really. So I'm going into my chest voice. It's like in between my throat and my chest, okay? Now, because that's so hard for me to get into like a full voice, I used, again, Controlla to put in this Omari low voice here. And going back to this, you can see I just picked the voice here. So if I click here and I go to male, you can go through these different male vocals, and I picked Omari. And then I took that vocal dry, brought it into Controlla, swapped the voice. Okay, that's all I did. And this sounds like this.
No saving you now.
Right, so he's doing the low harmony, but he doesn't sound like he's going, you know, making a woofy voice. Next up, we have something that I think is really cool to do. And because you got this far in the video, you get to get some game, right? This is a Formant shifted layer, okay? And one of my favorite plugins to use for this is called Elastic Pitch. I think it's by a German company. Let's see, Elastic Pitch. This is an incredible plugin for doing pitch shifting and timbre control in real time. And I think there's also like a widener effect on it, but check it out.
No saving you now.
Right, so that has like a really cool kind of texture in there. And as we start to stack all of these, let's go lead along with the low harmony and the Omari vocal.
No saving you now.
Right, we start to get more girth, more width, more depth, more texture and layers. And then I keep going, right? So I have the Sierra high stack in here. I already talked about this voice in Controlla. And this is really cool because I did like a high vocal on here, but it's way out of my range, so I sound like a BG, you know? But this does it in full voice. So I'll show you first the kind of BG voices that I have, which I'm gonna keep in here because they have a nice texture to them. And the more texture, the more thickness you're gonna get and harmonic support you're gonna get. You know, we're going for sonics here. All right, so here's the high vocal left and right.
No saving you now.
Now, remember we talked about head voice, we talked about falsetto, and we talked about the throat. This is kind of combining all of them. No saving you now. We're like in the throat. but we're also up in the head and we're also doing falsetto. You know, it's something that we want to play around with our voice. That's our instrument as vocalists, right? Especially if you're doing sync stuff, you're writing your own songs, you're a recording artist yourself. You need to learn how to tweak and move your voice around or be boring as it's up to you. You know, I'm not going to stop you. But anyway, that is out of my range, obviously, and I'm doing the BG thing. And it's kind of cool, and I might turn it really low down. But then I did the voice swap with the Sierra high stack here.
Low saving you now.
And it did such a good job. Like, that sounds amazing. That sounds rad to me. So together, I have a LCR here, right? With Sierra in the middle, and this sounds like this.
Low saving you now.
Right? And because of the kind of grit on the left-right highs, we could probably tuck these really low, right? And let's talk about panning a little bit as well. So this is pan 35-35, left and right, and then you have the middle, which is your C and the LCR of this stack right here. They're all doing the same thing, right? But then we also have another harmony, and this is going 38, which I might even go like 41, right, on this one. And these sound like this.
No saving you now.
All right, so we have the no saving you now, right? Very cool all together. And then, oh, there's more stacks. Uh-oh, hold on, check it out. I don't want to miss these. These are still important, all right? So this is all important within this whole context of doing this spot part. It makes it a special moment in your record, which helps you get more placements because it's interesting, right? Like, we're trying to make interesting things happen. All right, so these are left and right 50-50 panned, and they sound like this.
No saving you now.
Again, that's gonna be throat and chest, right? No, you know, no, like we're, that's a power voice. That's getting grit. That's getting more excitement in there. And then this is another voice here, and I don't know if I'll use this or not. It's kind of panned to the left a little bit, which is weird, but let's check it.
No saving you now. No saving you now.
All right, so the idea here, I think, was an LCR thing, so it should be this together.
No saving you now.
Right, and that's that harmony as well, okay? So all together, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 vocals just singing this one tagline, and they all sound like this together.
No saving you now.
And this all sounds like this together.
No saving you now.
Now, as we think about sync licensing and we think about exciting moments, a lot of the times with sync licensing for TV, film, especially like trailers and video games, they're going to use like one phrase out of your thing, right? So they're going to ask for stems if it's a trailer sort of thing. That's going to be trailerized, so they might only use that phrase because it's interesting. And I want that to come across really well in this video and hopefully be a lesson for you guys. Make an interesting vocal thing happen and these stacks and do the work on these things, because that may be the only thing they use out of the vocals. It might be all instrumental and, you know, big booms and but then like there's one part where it goes, no saving you now, you know, and then the action happens, you know, and then that is the full thing that they license for the trailer. Now, to become a master at vocal production, you have to really understand dynamic arrangements. All right. The song cannot just be a loop all the way through. You cannot fly the chorus all the way through if you want to get some sync licensing placements, or you want to attract the attention of big publishers, labels, sync reps, music supervisors, especially video editors, because the people picking the music are typically the music supervisors, but it's also video editors temping in music. Video editors are listening and looking at the waveform, okay? So they're actually reading the waveform when they're thinking about syncing your music into a picture. If they see that the waveform is just like this the whole time, you know, or it's just like nothing dynamic's happening, no stops, no pauses, they don't have a smaller part and then it goes down and then it gets bigger towards the end, they're probably not going to mess with your music at all. So they want to find different parts and angles to edit from for the picture. They want to know maybe they can start out small and then it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger for their trailer or for their commercial to get to the crescendo part, etc. So what does that mean for us as vocal producers? That means when we get to a chorus, like the first chorus here, it may not be even half as big as the second chorus, and the last chorus might be very, very much bigger, okay? So let's play this as an example.
Ain't no saving you now. No saving you now. No saving you now.
First chorus, very small. Like, look, we have just these doubles playing on the ain't no saving you now right here. But when we get to the final chorus, or the second to final chorus, we get this.
Ain't no saving you now. No saving you now.
So all these together sound like this compared to just a left-right double.
Ain't no saving you now. No saving you now.
And what do we get? We get options, right? So as the video editor is going through the video and they're like, well, it doesn't need to be huge up front, right? We just need like this, like, ain't no saving you now. And then like towards the end, we want this big moment where it gets bigger and bigger and it feels like a choir and a stack out of choirs, right? So it's getting bigger. It's more important. We start to crescendo at the height of the edit, okay? Because a lot of the edits for commercials are 30 seconds, okay? Trailer, you might get more around 2 minutes, maybe 90 seconds, you know, a minute and a half, etc. So we have to think about arrangement, and that's very, very important. You don't always want to just be flying over your choruses. And even when I do get to the end chorus and stuff, I start to stack different vocal layers. Like I showed you that moment where we have, 15 stacks, 12, whatever stacks here. And then we go into a kind of vocal solo part with an electric guitar. And then we have even another part on the outro, which is a different vocal part. So it's not the same as the Ain't No Saving You Now. So check it out.
Saving you now. Time will run out.
These are all options for your editor. So that's very important to understand if you're looking for more placements. Last thing I want to mention in this video is I do not condone the use of unethical AI. I do not condone the use of scraping people's stuff and not paying them and cloning their voices and not asking for permission, nobody getting compensated and stealing stuff like some of these companies have done. They shall remain unnamed in this video. All right. But I do really, really enjoy the use of AI in an ethical setting. So when I talk about any of these brands or anybody that I'm working with, I always ask them, I always talk to them deeply about how they train their models, how they pay their people, and how people are getting compensated and all that. So that's the only reason why I am bringing this app into this conversation, this Controlla Voice, because it is ethically trained AI. And the last thing I want to show you with this software that I think is really cool and pretty useful is this instant clone, right? So what you can do with this is if you're working with an artist or yourself, right, and you do a lot of music for sync or pitches, right, you might want to get your top liner that you usually work with to train their voice here so that when you mock things up for them to replace their actual singing voice, you can use a clone of their voice as a placeholder, right? So maybe you're a songwriter and you're a composer, producer, arranger, and you're making these songs for sync, and the artist that you're working with for a 5-song EP to pitch to sync reps and all that stuff, or a publisher, they're not always available to do a session when you need to be working and trying things out and hearing what they might sound like on a song. But you're writing all the lyrics and everything. So you can actually put on your Metatune, Autotune, whatever, sing your top line and sing your parts and cut all the parts, come in here and use this clone feature and use a model of their voice so that you can replace it so that you first off have an idea of what it might sound like with their voice once they record it, but then they could just come in and replace their cloned voice off of Controlla, this whole idea. And I think that's a pretty cool workflow. Like for me, if it's ethical, if you have the permission from that artist, you're not, cloning their voice, making songs, putting them out and monetizing them, like it's great. It's a good workflow and it's going to help you a lot as you start to make these songs and create these sync licensing, packages, and you're building your catalog of music. Okay. So this is everything in a nutshell that I could put into a 30-minute video on YouTube on vocal production. There is plenty more about vocal production. There's mic placement, mic choice, the preamp choice, where you're standing in the room itself that you're recording in, right? The reflections of the room. All of these things play a big factor. And I'd say the major factor is you as a recording artist. Are you good at mic control? Do you know how to be a recording artist? Because that is its own job title. You might be really awesome, singing live and performing live. You might be a great performer live, but recording artist is a completely different game. So learning how to use your voice all the way through, learning how to use these techniques, the panning, the timbre control, swapping out voices, making things bigger, mixing, right? Learning mixing. All of this stuff is going to take time. It's going to take ear training, but all of these techniques will hopefully help you get better and better and better. And if this video does help you, please drop some love in the comments and hit the like button. And you guys, if you want to know anything else about vocal production, mixing, mastering, etc., please drop in the comments what you'd like to learn next. I really am here just to help you guys out. Okay? See you next time.